It's 9:33. Coming up, Dave Green has the weather. Then we'll continue on the morning show talking about the theater with Dave Lefkowitz and Rabbi Sol Solomon. The Tony Awards are coming up this Sunday. Light FM 104.7, 1570 AM WVTL.
Another opening, another door, until it's Boston of all the more. I pass the station to say hello, another opening of another show.
We call that our hokey show business music to introduce our friend Dave Lefkowitz and his friend Rabbi Sol Solomon to talk about this weekend's Tony Awards. Dave Lefkowitz of Performing Arts Insider. He's also the theater editor for StageBuddy.com and will be doing his very own radio show about the Tonys tomorrow, even though I pointed out to him, I'm sure he knew it, that the Tonys are actually Sunday, Dave. They're Sunday.
Well, yes, but I want to give people a day to recover from the magnificence of my own program. See, if I did it on the same day, I wouldn't want to compete and outshine the Tony Awards. So I give people 24 hours to recuperate.
Gotcha. The Tony Awards are given to the Broadway stage, and well, some people from up here go down there to watch some of the Broadway shows. In fact, Audrey and I saw one play this year. When you go to New York, you see about 7, but we saw Lucky Guy. Lucky Guy was our play.
That's right, and I liked Lucky Guy, too. I did get to see it on my last visit to New York. It is nominated for Best Play. It's not going to win. It was a great show, I thought, but the main horse race for Best Play is between the Christopher Durang comedy Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike, which I think has a very strong edge, although there are some critics, and they're kind of the hoity-toity snobby ones, who prefer Richard Greenberg's play The Assembled Parties, which I found kind of a bore. But look for Vanya and Sonia to win that category.
Well, I've seen Lucky Guy. It's about a reporter, Mike McAlery, and it's it's based on life. And Nora Ephron wrote it, and Tom Hanks is in it. Is it the fact that Tom Hanks is in it, and that? Well, anyway, is there sort of a prejudice against that? Because who the heck is this Tom Hanks anyway? Coming back to Broadway.
There might have been when he was coming in, and some people are saying that it worked a little bit against Bette Midler when she came in to do her one-woman show, I'll Eat You Last, which is a biography of mega agent Sue Menders, and she did not get nominated. So they say, it's Bette Midler and whatever. It's just, no, there wasn't enough room in the categories. But Tom Waits did a really good job, and some people are picking him as going to win for the best actor in a play category. It might happen. He's very well liked, both on screen and on Broadway. It's a very strong category that he's in, because he's up against Nathan Lane, he's up against David Hyde Pierce from Vanya, and also a fellow who did a really fine job in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf a couple of months ago, Tracy Letts, out of Chicago. So he might win. Yeah, sorry.
I'm blowing on my fingernails and polishing them because, David Hyde Pierce, don't you know, is from up here.
Oh, I didn't. Is he an upstate New Yorker thing?
He's from Saratoga, I believe, Saratoga Springs.
Well, he's just a brilliant actor, and as much as I liked Tom Hanks' performance, I hope he wins, because I've liked him in almost everything I've ever seen David Hyde Pierce in on stage, not to mention, of course, Frasier. But he was wonderful in a play I don't like called La Bête a couple of years ago, and in Spamalot, if you got to see him there. And he's terrific in Vanya and Sonia.
Yeah. Now, tell me, this gives us an opportunity. What the heck is that? I mean, again, coming from my platform of ignorance about the stage, Vanya and Sonia and Masha
and Spike and Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice and Mars the Cat. Yeah, it's this really delightful play. It's kind of Christopher Durang's take on Chekhovian kind of characters, but it's a totally modern play. It's just like the people in it happen to be named after old Anton Chekhov play characters. But they're this brother and sister who've kind of settled into a quiet, boring life in their very nice house. And then their sister comes to visit, and she's a big famous actress. And now she's thinking of selling the house, which could completely upend their entire existence, because they were ready for a comfortable retirement, living together as a spinster sister and gay brother. So it's just hilariously funny, and in the second act there's a couple of monologues that they both have that are funny and touching and smart. It's, I think, the most heartfelt, joyous thing that Christopher Durang has ever written, because usually he writes very dark comedies and with a sick humor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was the guy who did Sister Mary Ignatius. Explains It All for You all those years ago.
Yes, I've heard of that. I didn't see it, but I just sort of have an idea. Yeah.
So this is a much more, I wouldn't say it's old-fashioned, but it's got a certain spirit to it that Durang has never had. And I came out of that play just smiling so broadly, having such a wonderful time. So I hope the play wins, certainly.
How did the rabbi like it?
Oh, do you mind if I bring him in?
Bring him in.
So he can ask for himself.
Rabbi Sol.
Shalom, everyone. This is Rabbi Sol Solomon.
Yes.
He is spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Shalom to you, Bob.
Yeah, shalom to you, Rabbi. And it's going to be hard to figure out when the Sabbath begins because it's so dark already. You know, it's the rain.
I would play it safe and start your Sabbath on Thursday.
I see.
Just in case. You don't want to miss when the actual sun goes down.
So David was going on about this play that made him happy. I can't imagine anything makes you happy, Rabbi.
Nothing, of course, nothing makes me happy.
Yeah.
What makes me sad is there's one play specifically about Jews that's up for a Tony Award. It's called The Assembled Parties by a Jew named Richard Greenberg. And, of course, you show Jews on stage, complete dysfunctionality. They're unlikable people. I was like, oh, no, why are you putting these people on stage?
See.
I mean, it's one thing when you have Nora Ephron's play Lucky Guy, and everybody there is drunk and shouting, and they're doing not so nice things, but they're Irish. It's okay, I don't care. But you make them Jews, that's when I draw the line.
Well, so I guess you're not voting for that one.
No, definitely not. And can you answer me why there are so many plays and musicals that have so much Christmas in them this season? Oh, my God. You got Annie in there, the whole last scene as the Christmas tree in there at the White House and things.
I didn't even know that. They brought Annie back? Holy cow.
Oh, yeah, Annie is up for the best revival of a musical there.
Oh.
And it's up against Kinky Boots, which, by the way, Kinky Boots has a book by Harvey Fierstein.
Oh, he sounds Jewish. Yeah.
One of my favorite Jews in the world.
Okay, well, good.
He's a yes in my book.
Okay.
There you go. Even though I never wear anything more strange than orthopedic sandals.
Yes.
Orthopedic kinky boots, I guess you could call them.
They're quite attractive.
But the Christmas is everywhere. You also had a play that's nominated for the Best Play Tony called The Testament of Mary.
Yeah, what was that about?
It was this one-woman show, the woman playing the mother of Jesus.
Really?
And she's telling the Jesus story from her perspective. Like, oh, he was a nice Jewish boy, but then he fell in with the wrong crowd.
I see.
But nobody liked it. It went away. Nobody even knows why it was nominated for anything. Toy, and fleh.
Yeah, so I guess that's out of the running, that one.
That's totally not going to win. Don't even think about it. Other shows should have been nominated instead.
Well, it seems like you have sounder opinions in many ways than your friend David, but one play I've heard about, I see, those of us upstate, don't get down there too often, down to the city to see these
Nor
plays.
should you. Stay where you are.
Yes. Well, but anyway, I just saw, what we do is we see things on television about, especially CBS. They're kind of artsy, and the other word that you rhyme with that, but what's this Matilda the musical? What the heck is that?
Matilda, see, that's the real horse race, as it were, of this particular Tony Award season, because you've got these two big musicals. There's Kinky Boots, which has the music by Cyndi Lauper, that adorable pixie, strange, eccentric child, and then you have a musical that came from England based on a book by Roald Dahl.
Oh, I've heard of him, yeah.
Not sure I can pronounce that correctly, but Matilda's all about this little girl with this horrible, dysfunctional family. It's kind of like Harry Potter with a vagina.
Oh, dear.
So she has these things that she does to get her through life that make her resilient. So there are people who love Matilda. They think it's brilliant. They think it's a near masterpiece. There are some critics who say it's far and away the best show of the year. No. However, there are many other critics who are saying, first of all, the sound design is so bad, you can't hear what the hell they're saying.
Really?
You cannot understand the lyrics or at the time when they're talking. And this is a tough thing when you're dealing with a show, unless it's Marcel Marceau.
That's right. Well, listen, Rabbi, I appreciate that. I think we got to get Dave back in because the time is starting to fleet.
Oh,
And,
yeah, I
he
hate
wants,
when time fleets.
yeah, he
Just-
wants to
it's-
plug his 600 events that he's got going on before.
Fleets and plugs. It sounds like you're talking about ducks. All right, let me bring David back in.
Yeah,
David!
bring David back
Oh,
in here.
oh, hi, Bob. You still there?
Yeah,
How
I'm
you
still
doing, man?
here. Yeah, but I saw this interview. I've heard me telling the rabbi about Matilda the musical, and now I'm blanking on the name of the reporter for CBS Sunday Morning. I'll come to me in a moment. But as he pointed out, the guy who created the musical got this funny hair, and so does Matilda. You know,
Oh,
so.
I did not notice the hairstyles of them, but that's really what everybody's going to be talking about over the next 24 to 48 hours. It's just the fact that, if one of those starts to sweep, it'll be a groundswell. People really... Kinky Boots is an audience show, and people like me who went in not really expecting very much or kind of think, oh, it's another, small movie that was made into a musical, blah, big deal, and then coming away going, wow, that was really, really fun.
Well, here's another thing, to relate it to our vast audience.
Sure.
What's likely to go on the road to places like Proctor's and Schenectady, where now they're showing Billy Elliot at Proctor's. So what do you think we'll be seeing next year from this crop or the year after or whatever?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, I do see Kinky Boots traveling. I mean, yes, it has a transvestite character as one of the leads and blah, blah, blah. But, hey, in Billy Elliot, you have a child dressing up in women's clothes. So if they can handle that.
Yeah.
I do see also Matilda, although that apparently has a lot of big design elements to tour with, but I can see that definitely happening while I scan through. Certainly the revival of Annie. They'd be crazy not to take that out on the road. And one of the big shows, and the name that you're going to be hearing a lot on Sunday night, is the revival of Pippin. Now, I don't know how easily they'll be able to take that on the road because it involves a lot of circus acts and performance and acrobatics along with the Stephen Schwartz show. But, when you see how many awards that's going to win and just how audiences are screaming in joy at Pippin, they're going to find a way to bring that around the country, and it'll be huge.
Okay. Well, Dave Lefkowitz, so tell us about your stuff here. You got your radio show. When's that?
Well, yeah, thanks again for reminding everybody. I normally do my radio show on Saturday mornings on uncradio.com, but my big Tony Awards radio special, that is tomorrow, special hours from noon to 4 Mountain Time, that's 2 to 6 your time, 2 to 6 p.m. It's going to be tons of show tunes. I'm going to be talking to like a dozen writers and critics and journalists and actors about their picks for the Tonys and about Broadway in general. Remember, it's uncradio.com for the live stream. And for more information, just please visit my website, davesgoneby.com, and that's Dave like my name with a V, davesgoneby.com.
And you also are involved with Performing Arts Insider and theater editor for StageBuddy.com.
Yeah, that's a new thing. StageBuddy.com just did a relaunch, and it's this cool website where if you're in New York and you don't know what you want to do on an evening, you're thinking, do I want to go to a comedy club or an off-Broadway show, or do I want to see a concert somewhere? You click, and there are all these suggestions from different sub-editors who are telling you, hey, why don't you check this out, or this got great reviews. And so I'm running the whole theater section now of StageBuddy.com. You might want to give it a look. And, of course, Performing Arts Insider is more of a journal. That's kind of an inside-y journal of telling you every little thing about everything on and off Broadway.
All right. Well, you are off Broadway.
In Colorado,
yeah. Well, Dave Lefkowitz, always a pleasure talking with you. Have a good show, and we look forward to the Tonys on Sunday.
Bob, always an honor and a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Take care. 9:49, Bob Cudmore Morning Show.